welcome back to Shilpi's Academy. Let's start off with listening skills. Now, guys, tell me, what do you think is listening skills? See, communication is never over until and unless you're listening properly. Okay. So what is communication? Only speaking well is not communication. You need to listen well also. Okay. Because the communication gets complete only when one person is speaking and the other person is listening properly. Okay. Because see, all of us focus a lot on speaking skills, that we should speak well on the stage, here, there, everything, but no one teaches you listening skills. Point is that how much ever good a speaker you are, if you cannot listen properly, you can never do justice to communication. Okay. And I think most of us, how we listen is, I will tell you, we are always listening so that we can reply back. Okay, we are just waiting for our chance to reply back. How many of you agree to this? Most of us don't listen, especially when there is an argument or anything else going on. We don't really listen what the other person is saying. We just wait for our time when we can speak back, or we are just trying to pick some point from what he's saying and then again argue back on it. We are never really listening. We are just like, okay, this person is talking, okay, now you talk, you stop talking, and then I'll start talking. That is the temperament with most of us, right? But in that way, if we are talking, how many of you agree? You need to type down I agree if you feel that you actually listen when to someone else. It's very, very, very rare. I think out of 20 times, probably once you would be listening, actually listening to someone. Most of us basically are listening to answer back, but that's not listening. Okay. Listening skills have to be when we are actually trying to understand what the person is saying. And it includes verbal, non-verbal, his tone, his emotions, everything that we need to understand. Okay. So let's start off with listening skills. I mean, I'll just start off with the, what do you call? I'll share the PDF with all of you. Okay. See, listening is not to be confused with hearing. Okay. Hearing is physical process. Listening is a mental process. Okay. Say right now I'm sitting and talking to you all. Outside there could be an ambulance going. Outside there could be a horn of a bus. There could be birds chirping. I will listen to all that. I'm sorry, I'm hearing all that. Okay. Because it's a physical process. I cannot close my ears. Okay. If my ears are open, I'm hearing everything. But that is a physical process. Okay. God has designed our ears in such a way that whatever noise falls onto it, it will sometimes go to a brain, and it is an automatic process. So you need to remember one thing very important for your MCQ is that hearing is a physiological process. Okay. Hearing is a physiological process which involves receiving the sound waves by the eardrum and transferring them to a brain. It is an involuntary act that happens automatically. Hearing is the sound that enters the ears. It's a physical process. Okay. So very, very clear you should be with this concept. There's a big chance of an MCQ, not just for paper one, but also for your presentation and communication skills. You might get questions from here. Okay. So hearing is a physical process. Sound falls onto our eardrum picks it up, carries it to the brain. You are not involved. Your mind, your emotion is not involved. Even when you are sleeping, you are hearing. Okay. Even when you are distracted, even when you are playing a game, or even when you are doing anything else, you are hearing sounds. Okay. But listening is when mentally you are involved. Like for example, this class, if you're attending and if you're distracted, then you're just hearing me, which is not going to make any effect. Okay. But if you're mentally involved, if you're alert, if you're focusing, then basically you're listening to me. And only when you listen to something will you be able to grasp that thing. Okay. So hearing is automatic, it's physical, it's a physiological process. Listening is much more than hearing. It involves process of interpretation and inference. Okay, just note these words. It involves the process of interpretation and inference. It's a voluntary activity. Voluntary activity means on your own wish you are doing it. It's deliberate. Listening means paying attention not only to the story, but how it is told, the use of language, voice, how the other person uses his or her body. You are aware of verbal and non-verbal communication both. Okay. So guys, hearing is just a physical process which happens on its own. Listening is something where mentally you are involved. You are taking note of the person's voice. Say if I start talking in French to you, most of you would not understand, right? So then you are just hearing, you're not listening. because the language is not understood by you. If I talk in a very, very soft voice, and it takes a long time for you to get focused on. If I talk in a very heavy accent, then in all that cases, you'll be hearing me, you will not be listening to me. Okay. So listening means basically you are taking note of the voice, the pronunciation, the tone, the body language also. Okay, like for example, if someone is moving their hands and showing things and all those, then you are taking in that also. That also you are trying to understand what is being said. And the most important is you have to use your interpretation and inference skills. It's a voluntary activity. These are the key words you need to remember. Okay, it's a voluntary activity, because hearing, even if you don't want, you still keep hearing sounds. Listening is voluntary. Mentally you're focused there. Okay, and this requires interpretation. If I am talking to you about this hearing and listening, you are trying to make sense of it. Okay, you are trying to use your brain and understand what is being said. Okay, this is known as interpretation and inference skills. So please be very clear with what is hearing and what is listening. This is very important for you all to understand. Okay, now go on to the next part. What is the purpose of listening? Why do we want to listen? To specifically focus on the messages being communicated, avoiding distractions and preconceptions. So we have to avoid distractions. Definitely, if I am teaching you right now, and if you have on your mobile, you have some other tab open, if you're chatting on WhatsApp with someone else, you're distracted basically, right? So you cannot listen properly. You should not have preconceptions. Preconceptions means don't listen to someone with already set mindset. Like for example, if you're sitting here and if you set with a mindset that I know how much ever I listen this CSET attempt, no, I cannot clear. So whatever, this is a preconception which you have made, that no, this is not going to be helpful for me and I'm not going to clear it. So don't make all these preconceptions while listening. Listen with the open mind. All right. You should gain a full and accurate understanding into the speaker's point of view. Critically assess what is being said. Critically assess means you cannot just rely on what the speaker is saying. Okay, see, for example, if I tell you, guys, CSET is very easy. Okay, you don't need to study on your own, just listen to my videos and you will definitely pass it. Don't believe it. Okay, whatever the person is saying, you have to critically assess it. You have to take a call. You have to like understand whether what the person is saying is true or not. So you have to use your assessment skills. That is critically assess. Show interest, concern, and concentration. Say if I'm teaching you in a physical classroom atmosphere, or say if I'm teaching you when all your videos and audios are on, and if you're not showing interest, in between you are eating something, drinking something, you're going here and there, you are not focused, then what happens? The speaker also loses interest. So to make sure that the speaker is also interested and you are listening, you have to show that yes, you're interested. You have concern and concentration towards the speaker. You should develop a selflessness approach. What is a selflessness approach? You should not keep on thinking about yourself. When you are sitting in an auditorium, 100 of you are sitting and one speaker is speaking, show some respect towards the speaker. Okay, put the speaker first. Let the speaker go on. Okay, don't just keep on trying to keep yourself first, that no, this is not what I want to hear, this is what I want to hear, I want it to be done like that. Don't do it. Okay, you should have a selfless approach, as in it's not about you only being very important. Basically, you should not be selfish. That's what they're trying to say. Okay, next is your listening is the ability to accurately receive and interpret messages in the communication process. It is the key to effective communication. It requires focus and concentrated effort, both mental and sometimes physical. This PDF, I'm going to share it on the WhatsApp group right after this. It's the key points from your material has been taken and put away. Okay. So listening is not a passive process. This is what you need to remember again for your MCQ. Listening is not a passive process, because passive process is hearing. Whether you want it or not, it keeps happening. But listening is an active process. You need to be like involved. Okay. It is a mental activity that involves the use of brain. Definitely. Like say, for example, I'm teaching you all this about listening and hearing. I can make a 3-year-old sit over here again. If the 3-year-old, what he is doing is he's hearing me. He cannot listen to me because his brain cannot process the information what I am trying to give. Okay. So this is another important thing. Now, types of listening skills. There are various types of listening skills, which let's focus on right now. Okay. One is your discriminative listening. See, discrimination listening, mostly we think that we are being partial, but it is not that. Okay, discriminative listening does not mean that. Let us understand what is discriminative listening. It is the most basic type of listening whereby the difference between different sounds is identified. If you cannot hear the difference, then you cannot make sense of the meaning that is expressed. We learn to discriminate between sounds within our own language early, and hence we can understand the phonemes. This is one reason why a person from one country finds it difficult to speak another language perfectly, as they are unable to distinguish the subtle sounds that are required in that language. Most of you make a mistake in this discriminative listening, as in you forget that what is discriminative listening. So please mark it as important. Because why important? Because other words you'll be able to understand. Even if you forget in the exam hall, in the exam, if you read that word also, no, you'll be able to understand what it means. But discriminative listening, generally we don't understand what it means. So discriminative listening is not discriminating between the speakers, okay? Discriminative, you all know what is discrimination, right? Like the black people are always discriminate against the white, something like that we can say. So discriminate is when you are able to discriminate between sounds. I am talking to you in English right now. You can understand the difference in sounds, okay? If I use the certain sounds that is being made on every word which I'm speaking, you can understand those sounds, right? You can make the difference between the sounds, and hence you are able to listen to me. But say, for example, I start speaking in French or German right now. You will not be able to make out the difference between the sounds. For you, everything sounds the same only, correct? So you will not be able to understand. Hence, discriminative listening is when you're able to understand the difference between sounds in that language. Then only you can understand that language, and that is called discriminative listening. Is this okay with all of you? Let's go on to the next part now. Discriminative listening. The next part is your comprehensive listening. The next step beyond discriminating between different sounds and sights is to make sense of them, okay? All of you know what is comprehension, right? We should understand grammar. We should be able to understand what they are saying. The same is true, of course, for the visual components of communication, and an understanding of body language helps us to understand what the person is really meaning, okay? So here what they are trying to say, no? All of you know what is comprehension, right? Comprehension is basically understanding something, what they are trying to say. So comprehensive listening is, it's not just about only understanding the language, it's about understanding the tone also, okay? See, like for example, I can say you something like, I'm very very upset with you people. You people are not studying properly. This tone shows that emotions, okay? This tone shows that I'm actually very upset. But if I shout at this and tell you, I am extremely upset with all of you. What is this that you people are doing? I'm absolutely not okay with all this. This shows anger. Okay, so words are more or less similar, but emotion conveyed is different. And this emotion conveyed, we understand from the tone, the volume, and the body language. Very important. Okay, so this is how we need to comprehend listening. We need to understand the grammar. We need to make sense of what is being said. Okay, and in what sense? That is what we have to understand. The next is your biased listening. Very interesting. Biased listening is, I think biased listening is something which all of us do at some point in our lives, okay? And which probably even I do a lot of times. Biased listening happens when the person hears only what they want to hear, typically misinterpreting what the other person says based on the stereotypes and the other biases that they have. Such biased listening is often very evaluative in nature. So biased listening is when we have already made a set mind frame. Okay, like say for example, you have studied from a highly convent educated and with a very foreign university and everything. Now, when you meet a person from a village who has studied from a village school and college, and he talks to you and tells you about the recent phenomena in astrophysics or something like that, you would not really listen properly. Like, you would have a very biased thinking. You just want to listen what he wants to say, and then you are like, I know better. I mean, you don't know anything. So you would not be openly listening to him because you are just picking out the things that you want to listen. Okay. And you focus only on that. You don't try to take a holistic approach and understand what the person is trying to say. This is a biased listening. Okay. when you're very partial towards, yes, when you're very partial towards the other person's thing. Okay, partial is like when you are kind of comparing between two people. Okay, partial is something like when you are speaking and when one more person is speaking, I'm partial towards the other person. But biased listening is more like where you yourself have certain notions. Okay, you yourself have certain ideas in your head and you're only looking through that eyes. Okay, so that is more of a biased listening. Like for example, the typical example is in corporates and all, no, when men have a women boss, if the woman boss criticizes on their certain work, they don't take it well. Okay, because it's biased listening, they don't take it well. According to them, the women boss should not order them, should not criticize them. But then when the same thing is done by a male boss, they are much more open. So this is a type of biased listening. Okay, yeah, preconceived notions. Yes. Another thing is your evaluative listening. We make judgments about what the other person is saying. This is also known as critical, judgmental, interpretative listening. When a person tries to persuade us to or change our behavior, evaluative listening is used. We weigh up the pros and cons of an argument and determine whether the argument makes sense logically and whether it is helpful for us. For most of the time, evaluative listening is done when a marketing person or a salesperson calls you. Okay, we quickly make the judgment because we have to understand whether this product is going to be useful or not. So we weigh the pros and cons, we evaluate. So when he's speaking, no, we are listening more towards whether this is useful for me or not. So we are from point one, we are starting to weigh the pros and cons. We are not really listening the entire thing. We are just thinking whether this is useful for me. What is the advantage? What is the disadvantage? That is evaluative listening. I am just listening for evaluation purpose. Like when you people write the exam answer sheet, the teacher is basically reading it as an evaluative thing. She only wants to give you marks. That is the reason she is reading all your answers. Okay. So that is known as evaluative listening. Next is your appreciative listening. Appreciative listening is when we seek certain information which we will appreciate. Like Justin Bieber's music helps us to meet our needs and goals. So appreciative listening is when we are, when generally this appreciative listening happens when we really have confidence on someone and that person is speaking to us. Say your mentor or a person you really look up to, a famous actor, cricketer, those kind of people. So we kind of appreciate whatever they are saying. That is appreciative listening. Then is your sympathetic listening. All of you know what is sympathetic listening, right? Your friend had a breakup with their boyfriend or girlfriend. They call you, they start crying, and you're kind of sympathizing with them. Don't worry, everything will be all right. Those kind of things. Empathetic listening is when we go beyond sympathy to seek a truer understanding of how they are feeling. This requires excellent discrimination and close attention to the nuances of emotional signals. When we are truly being empathetic, we actually feel what they are feeling. So guys, there's a very thin line of difference between sympathy and empathy. I don't know if you've heard this, but whenever something wrong happens with someone, a lot of people say, no, I'm not looking for your sympathy. If you can empathize with me, it would be helpful. So sympathy is when you are trying to, like, it's like a pity. Okay, you are like pitying that person. You're not really trying to feel what the person has gone through. So your friend always breaks up with some boyfriend or girlfriend and she comes to you crying, and you never had a boyfriend or girlfriend in your life. So you will just sympathize. You feel sad about seeing your friend crying. So you're like, okay, don't cry. Should I make you a coffee? Should I get you a pizza? Something like that. So you're just sympathizing with him. You're just pitying that person. You don't have empathy because you cannot feel what the person is going through, right? Inside you would be thinking every day she does this drama, or basically you never had a boyfriend, girlfriend, so how would you know or how break up, how it feels like? So that is empathy. Empathy is when you can just feel what the person is going through and maybe not do anything. Okay, so that is what is empathy. Then is therapeutic listening. The listener has the purpose of not only empathizing with the speaker, but also to use his deep connection in order to help the speaker understand, change, or develop in some way. Therapeutic listening is when we go to professionals like psychotherapists or psychiatrists or counselors, where we talk everything about us and they try to empathize. They will never show you pity. They will never show you sympathy. They will empathize with you. They will try to understand what you are going through, and then they will give you guidance. That is therapeutic listening. Okay. So a lot of times when we are upset or sad and we talk to someone who really motivate us, no, that is more like therapeutic listening. They are listening to you, empathizing with you, and then they are giving you some guidance when you can improve. Dialogic listening is, it's a basic conversation, dialogue conversation kind of a thing, where it is an engaged interchange of ideas and information in which we actively seek to learn more about the person and how they think. This dialogic listening happens mostly when uh, before marriage, okay, when the guy and girl get introduced and they want to know more about each other. So when they want to take a decision, right, whether they should get married or not. So that time it is more like a dialogic listening. The boy tells everything about himself, his childhood and his college and days and all those things, and the girl is very actively listening. And then she also talks about her ideas, her views, and the boy is actively listening, and they are very interested in knowing about each other. So this is dialogic listening. Relationship listening, the most important factor in listening is in order to develop or sustain a relationship. This is why lovers talk for hours and attend closely to what each other has to say, when the same words from sentence from someone else would seem to be rather boring. So this too is very related to each other. Dialogic listening could be for lovers, could be for a boss who's interviewing an employee also, okay, because the interviewee is also interested to know what is the company's vision, mission, what salary will they offer. The boss is also interested to know about the employee. So dialogic listening can happen in many situations. Relationship listening is typically between a lover, a newly married person, mother and son, parents and child, sister. These are relationship listening, okay. So when what happens is, before marriage, when the courtship period is going, most of them are on the phone for long hours, and this and when you're on the phone for long hours, the talk which is going is very silly, right? It could be something like, so what did you eat? Okay, you ate potatoes. I actually like my potatoes boiled, or those kind of things, which is very which you don't want to hear from anyone else. But when it is coming from both of you, it sounds very nice. So that is relationship listening. Selective listening, this is important, please mark it as important. Selective listening, this is a negative type of listening because bias can be based on preconceived ideas or emotionally difficult communication. Selective listening is a sign of failing communication. You cannot hope to understand if you have filtered out some message, and may reinforce or strengthen your bias for future communications. Okay, so selective listening mostly happens when either we are not interested, or the person's way of saying things is so boring that you just pick out the things in between, or when you're extremely angry, okay. So this selective listening, how it happens is, you just pick out on certain words and you make conclusions on it, which is very dangerous because you have not heard the entire content, okay. So say for example, if your boss tells you on how to make a presentation for a certain client, you do selective listening, then what happens, the presentation would not come out that way because you have not heard the entire thing. So this is a very negative form of listening. Then active and effective listening, I think all of you would know. Active is when you are truly understanding, and this is the best form of listening, okay, active listening, because you're truly trying to understand, interpret, infer whatever the person is saying. You ask questions back also, like if in this how many of you are here, if some of you are very closely paying attention to all the studies, it is known as active listening, because if you're not understanding certain points, you're questioning also. So that is the active listening, okay. Active and effective listening are combined and subsumed under listening. Combining both makes good sense for one reason: a person cannot separate one from the other. To effectively listen, he has to listen actively. To listen actively, he must listen effectively. Both are distinct, but you cannot separate them, okay. So active and effective listening has to be done together, okay. If you are actively listening to me and asking questions, then only it is being effective, right? But if you're not actively listening to me, say you are watching some video along with listening to me, then that listening is not effective, right? So they both are very closely linked to each other. Active, and in one place it is effective. So when you listen actively, it will be effective. If you don't listen actively, it will not be effective, okay. So till here, is everything clear about the various types of listening? The important types of listening, as I told you, is discriminative, active, effective, and one more which I told you, no, selective. Is it clear till here? Selective listening is when you are just listening to some parts of the conversation. You are not listening to the entire part. You just listen to few things and then make judgments, which is a very negative type of listening, okay? Because you're not understanding the full concept, okay? Dialogic is when two people are talking to each other and they want to know more about each other. Could be in a courtship period or could be as a boss when you are going for a new interview. Okay, both of them are talking and both of them are wanting to know about each other. So it's not a one-sided communication, it's more like a dialogue. Okay. Now let's go on to the next part. Types of listeners. Active, passive, evaluative, marginal, non-listeners. Active and passive is easy to understand, right? Active is you're properly listening, properly focusing. Passive is you are not doing it properly. Okay, passive listening mostly happens when you hear it but you don't want to hear it, kind of a thing. Like, say for example, you are sitting at home watching some Netflix and your mom tells you to do some housework, to go out to the market and buy something. You most of the time you would like behave as if you didn't hear it. She tells you to clean your room, you don't behave as if you don't hear it. So that is passive listening. Non-listeners is another category, evaluative and marginal. I'll just explain it to you, all of these. Active listening is the best form of listening. It's a win-win situation because right now most of you are doing active listening. I am explaining something, you are listening. If you are not understanding, you are asking for more clarification, you are asking questions. And if the video would have been on, like how we do in a physical classroom, we can find out from your eyes itself. You nod your heads and you make some expression in which we can understand that yes, you have listened. Okay, I mean you have understood. So we seek clarification, we ask questions, we show their approval by nodding head, we summarize to indicate that they fully follow the speaker and hence are sensitive towards the feeling of each other. It's a win-win situation because it is a win-win for me also because you are understanding properly. It's a win-win for you also because you actively listened and understood everything. Okay, so this is a category of active listeners. Passive listeners is exactly opposite. They don't have any sensitivity. They don't try to understand the inner meaning. They don't try to understand the nuances. Nuances means a small small nitty-gritties, okay? And non-verbal subtext. Non-verbal subtext is my tone, is my body language, is my expressions, etc. They allow someone to speak without interrupting or seeking clarification. They do not make notes. They don't nod head. They don't maintain eye contact. It is basically just hearing and not listening. So a lot of times we have done this passive listening in our school or college, some classes, right? Like for me, I used to find business studies classes really boring in my 11th standard. And the teacher used to stand over there and teach. And I just used to keep on looking without, it was more of hearing. My mind was totally zoned out and I was not listening to anything. I never asked any questions over there. I never nodded my head or something. In between, if I saw that she was looking at me, I kind of had to nod my head like that. So we try not to maintain eye contact because if you maintain eye contact with the teacher, she might ask you a question, right? So you try to maintain not to maintain eye contact. You just keep staring at your book. So all this is passive listening. Basically, you're not listening. The point is that you are not listening. Okay. Now the next part is, now next from active passive listening is non-listener. See, there's a very thin line of difference, guys, between passive listening and non-listeners. Okay, non-listeners do not listen at all because they are genuinely disinterested in the subject. These people pretend to follow the speaker while they are actually preoccupied with something else. So they will fake attention, but they could be easily be recognized by their blank stare, impatient and nervous mannerisms. Okay. So can you understand that? See, doesn't it sound like the same thing, passive listening and non-listeners? But actually, non-listeners is a worst form of listening, and passive listening is still little better because in between you might have heard something. So passive listening generally happens when we are in a classroom and we are trying to listen because see, we know that we have to clear the exam, right? So in between, yes, we zone out, but we don't maintain eye contact, but it's not like we are not interested in the subject because we know that we have to pass it for this exam. So that is kind of a passive listening. Non-listener is mostly when you are forced into that situation. Okay, you don't want to be there, but you are forced into that situation. Some of you might be non-listeners also in school or college, but I was more of a passive listener. It was not like I was not interested, but sometimes it used to get very boring after lunch and all those things. So non-listener is when they're genuinely not interested, okay? Mostly you have been forced to attend a seminar or something and you have to sit there, okay? And the person on the stage is speaking and you're just not interested, and you would not even bother with eye contact. You would just be waiting when this will get over. These things also happen a lot with me, no? When some sales people come, okay? Like what happens is some new software they have launched, or some like in the office, what happens, someone just comes over and they're like, ma'am, can we just have like 10 minutes of your time? We have are you interested in mutual fund investments or insurance policies? So those kind of people, what happens, no? Now they've just come into your office. You cannot really shoo away that person, right? Because he's seen you and he's come, and can I just take 5 minutes of your time? And I'm like, okay. And they come and sit and they start explaining. I'm genuinely not interested because I don't want to buy an insurance policy right now, correct? And that person keeps on speaking. Irritation is there on my face. I'm just a little irritated, waiting when this will get over. And the moment it's like, yeah, okay, thank you so much, I'll just let you know. So that is kind of a non-listener, because I actually didn't listen at all what he was trying to say. I just had to give him that 5-10 minutes of time. So that is a non-listener. Marginal listener is impatient to listen to the main ideas. Marginal listeners pay superficial attention and are interested only in the bottom line. They just hear the sounds of words but fail to grasp the meanings. They do not go to the deeper level in arguments. They will not have the patience to sit through the complex technical presentations and jump to findings and conclusion. Risky to communicate with marginal listeners because they are not focused on the main ideas and often misunderstand their import. This happens sometimes when the same way I am interested in say one franchisee, okay? One franchisee approached education franchisee that would you be interested? So I am sitting over there, and their counselors or their executives, they are making the presentation on the, what do you call, on the projector and everything, and some 10-15 people are sitting there who are prospective franchisee holders. And the point is that that entire presentation, when it goes for 1.5 hours, you are not interested in listening so much. I was interested to take the franchisee, so I was there, but I don't want to listen so much about the features and everything, okay? I just want to know how much is the price, what is the sharing, what is in it for me, how can we promote it, those 3-4 kind of things, okay? So I just want that, tell you, don't beat around the bush, okay? Don't go round and round and round, just tell me the main thing, what is there. And in doing this, I sometimes miss out on the smaller things which they are trying to say, okay? So this is one kind of marginal listening, because I just want to listen to the main thing, and in between sometimes I may misunderstand certain things. Evaluative, they assess the verbal content on the basis of words, not paralinguistic or non-verbal cues. They use logic to understand the content. They distance themselves emotionally from the subject. They do not show empathy or sensitivity. They are mostly prejudiced and judgmental, as they presume the meaning before actually the speaker completes a sentence. So these evaluative listeners are mostly listeners of the type where before you have finished, no, they will start talking and they will start judging you, those kind of things, okay? They don't want to, we have a lot of people in our lives like this, okay? Like some teachers are also like that. Some friends are like that, where you are saying something and they don't understand your tone, your body language, nothing. They don't have any sensitivity towards you. They will just be judgmental and they will quickly jump to conclusions. Say, for example, you're trying to tell your friend that, see this girl that you are hanging out with, I'm not too sure of this girl, and because what I feel is, and the friend jumps to conclusion, okay, yeah, you're trying to tell me that my judgment is bad, I am a fool, I should ask you only, to whom should I go, those kind of things. So he's a very evaluative listener, okay? He does not have any sympathy towards you. He doesn't want to understand what you're trying to say. He just picks on your words and he gets judgmental about it. So that is evaluative listener. Okay, so these were the various types of listeners. Now coming to barriers to active listener. What are the various barriers which we face when we are trying to listen actively, okay? Deep-rooted beliefs. The typical example is someone tells you, let's go for a drink, let's go for a party, we'll drink some beer or something like that. And your socio-cultural belief has been that, only bad people indulge in hard drinks. So you quickly come to a conclusion and then you stop listening. Okay, so this is because of deep rooted beliefs. You're not able to take out that beliefs and listen properly. Over enthusiasm, intolerance. Sometimes you're so enthusiastic, you're so over excited, you don't want to, like, listen out the entire thing. The boss is telling the employee, so tomorrow I have fixed up your appointment with one of our biggest clients, and you get so enthusiastic that you don't listen to the entire thing, that where is the meeting, what you have to present in the meeting. So this is one barrier to active listening. Please mark this as important: diffidence. Some listeners suffer from a defeatist attitude, underestimate their capabilities, and decide in advance that they cannot understand what they are going to hear. Okay. So what happens generally is, say, I am teaching you something and I'm teaching it in a lot of depth. And one or two of you might have this mindset that this is going to be very difficult. Okay, CS is very difficult. I was never a good student. Then all this will definitely go above my mind. So before you have listened and you have tried to understand also, you have this defeatist attitude that this is not my cup of tea. So that is diffidence. It is important. Please mark it as important. A lot of people ask me this, that I was a very average student in +2. Can I do CACS? My maths is very weak. Can I do CA? It really doesn't depend on your maths or whether you were a weak student in +2 or not. It really doesn't depend on that, because you can do whatever you want to do, right? In life, you just have to decide that day that yes, this is what I want to do, and you'll reach there. Of course, you have to work for it. You'll not reach there automatically, but you definitely reach there. Negativity towards the speaker. If you dislike the speaker, then you will not approve his ideas. You will not like his ideas. You will just basically think that what is this person speaking? He always talks crap only. So you should not have negative. Generally, what happens is, like when you really hate your boss too much, or when you have an enemy, whenever that person speaks, you just have so much of negativity, you don't listen. Prejudging the speaker. Now you are sitting in a you're sitting in a seminar hall, and this person came to talk to you and teach you how to present yourself, how to be a good public speaker, and he comes in loose pajamas and Hawaii chappals and all that. What will you see? You will always prejudge him. What is this guy going to tell me how I should present myself? So you have prejudged the speaker. You're not interested towards the subject. You don't want to know about that subject. Partial listening. You are multitasking. You are thinking that, okay, let me answer all my emails also, listen to this person also, and in the same time do something else also. So in all this cases, what happens? Partial listening. Multitasking is a myth. Never try to do multitasking. Focus on one thing at a time. It works. Inadequate language base. Of course, my Tamil speaking skills is very limited. So if someone is giving the entire speech in Tamil, I would not really understand completely, because my language base is not that strong enough for Tamil. Okay. So this was all about the barriers of active listening, and that important I told you was diffidence. Now come to the principles of effective listening. I'm not going to go in the details of this. This is pretty easy. What is the, how do you make sure that you are effectively listening? First, you have to stop talking. Okay. If both of you start talking to each other and then the third person is also talking, you will never understand. So you first stop talking. Prepare yourself to listen. Relax yourself. If you have too much things going on in your mind, like see in a computer, when we have 10 tabs open, we can never focus on the one tab that we are working on. Similarly, in our minds also, we have too many tabs open. We are thinking about the work, we are thinking about a movie, we are thinking about a friend, we are thinking about an exam. And when you're talking to someone else, you don't really listen to that person, because you have so many other things going on in your mind. Put the speaker at ease. Make the speaker feel that yes, you are important. We want to listen to you. Then only that person would actually speak. Maintain eye contact with the speaker. Remove distractions. How do you remove distractions? If you're listening, like for example, if you're listening to the session, I don't want you to have any other tab open on your laptop. If you're listening to this on the mobile, you should not try to not have anything else open on the mobile. Try to be in a place where no one can disturb you. So those distractions has to be removed. You have to empathize. Empathize, I've already told you what is empathize. You need to feel what the other person is feeling. You should be patient, avoid personal prejudice. These are all similar meanings, guys. I'm not going through all this. Listen to the tone, very important. Listen to the tone, because as I told you, the same thing I can say in a way where I'm upset, and same thing I can say in a way where I'm angry. So you need to understand what is the tone, whether the person is feeling sad, upset, angry, irritated. Those kind of things you have to understand from the tone. Listen for ideas, not just words. Very important. Please mark it as important. Don't focus too much on the words also. When you're listening to someone, you need to understand what is the idea behind this conversation. What is the idea he's trying to tell you? Okay, so when I am trying to tell you so much, when I'm trying to teach you and I'm trying to tell you that you should study this, that, don't just listen to my words. Understand the idea behind it. The reason why I'm talking all this to you is because I want you to clear this exam, right? So that is the idea behind it. So always look into the idea, the whole picture. Wait for non-verbal signs, all that is okay. This all I've already told you. One thing is you're interrupting. When it comes to this interruptive listening, I had this student who was like, who used to speak, interrupt so much in between. Like, you know, one sentence you speak and he wants to speak one sentence back. So it was a very interruptive kind of a listening that he did. And then what happens, the speaker kind of loses interest in talking, in explaining things. So it should not be you should not interrupt too much. Previous experience plays a very big role, okay? Because say one person cheated you some 2 years back. He told you that we can make a lot of money in this business, and you people invested, and he ran away. Now he comes back to you. He says he's become a saint now, he's a changed person and all those things. But you will not be able to trust him fully, right? Because you have a bad previous experience with that person. Or it could be that you had a previous experience with, like, say for example, it happens with countries also. Someone from India was cheated twice by someone from Africa. So the third time, if he does any deal with Africans, he would have a previous experience notion that no, this person would also cheat. So that is previous experience. Having a closed mind. You are not open to ideas at all. Okay, like most of our elders are like that. Okay, say our elders have a jewelry shop in one of the wholesale market areas, and the son says that, see, to expand this, we need to take up make a proper showroom, go to mall, or go online, sell online. But the parents and grandparents are not interested. They have a closed mind. They are like, we have done this business till now like this only, and further also we'll do it like that. So that is like having a closed mind. Noise, all of you know what is noise, right? When you fake attention, you're not interested, but you're faking attention. When you become emotional, very important. Most of the time when we become emotional, we stop listening, right? Say, for example, your mom is telling you that your teacher is telling you that if this is the way that you are studying, then it is going to be very difficult for you to clear the exams. I cannot understand anything that you have written on the paper, and you become emotional. You know, you kind of start crying, and then what happens? You miss out on the message which your teacher is trying to convey. You just don't want to understand. You just lose track. So that is becoming emotional. Avoid jumping to conclusions. This all of you understand. Distraction, I think all of you would understand. I've already explained all this. They are repeated once again. How do you improve your listening skills? Now coming to the last topic, that is, how do you improve listening skills? You can improve listening skills only when you concentrate. We tell you all the time, concentrate on your studies, concentrate on your studies, concentrate on what you're reading. If you're working, if you're cooking, whatever you're doing, concentrate. If you don't concentrate, you can never listen properly, or you can never do any work properly if you don't concentrate. Okay, just say for example, right now I'm teaching you all, and my concentration is not here. Okay, I'm continuously thinking on evening, I have to go out, what should I do, what I should not do. I'm continuously focused on my mobile messages. Would you like the experience? You would not like the experience, right? Because I'm not concentrating enough in delivering my session, so you would not like it. So the listening will not this is comes to speaking. Even in listening, it will not happen properly. If you don't concentrate in what I'm saying, you would not have learned it properly. Okay, so you should not be multitasking. You should concentrate. You should be willing to do it. Those things. Refrain from formulating an immediate response. You listen to 2-3 minutes of my session and you take a decision. No, I cannot understand whatever she's going to say. Leave it. So refrain. Refrain means try not to do. Try not to form an immediate response. see, this is a fact. The first 2-3 minutes you make a decision about that person, but try not to do that. Okay, try not to make an immediate response like that. Try to prepare beforehand. Yeah, before coming to the session, you are asked to prepare beforehand, right? Have a Zoom thing, have a printout of the book, etc. Be prepared to accept revisions. A willingness to accept revisions will keep the communication process running smoothly. Often people are so busy trying to defend their position that they fail to really stop and think whether they could be improved upon. So if you're not ready for revisions, you cannot succeed. Trust me on that. In fact, even after teaching for so many years, every few moments I will ask whether it is clear, whether you want it to be done in any other way, because it's not about me speaking well, it's about you people understanding, right? I can give a very good speech and go, but if nothing goes into your head, or if you don't act on it, then that kind of a speech is a waste, right? What is the point in being such a good orator then? You need to do it in a way where you people can understand. So that is important. So this is one thing about the last part of this listening. Okay, so this was all about listening skills. Now, bye bye.